There are bridges in Canada that experienced truck drivers refuse to cross twice. Not because they lack the skill, but because certain crossings in this country have a track record that speaks for itself. Documented strikes, fatal crashes, wind closures that strand entire supply chains, and in one case, a driver who went through a railing and into a lake on a bridge the government had been warned about for years. This is that list. Number 5. The High-Level Bridge, Edmonton, Alberta. Most dangerous bridges earn their reputation from what they span. The High-Level Bridge earned its from what keeps hitting it. Built in 1913, it carries vehicle traffic on its lower deck across the North Saskatchewan River, in the middle of downtown Edmonton, a stone's throw from the Alberta legislature. The clearance on the lower deck is low enough that trucks with loads exceeding the posted limit have been striking it consistently for years. In one recent summer alone, large trucks hit the high-level bridge 5 times. Police recorded 21 confirmed strikes and 63 close calls over the past 6 years. Not 21 over a decade. Not 21 since it opened. 21 in 6 years. Each close call means a truck stopped in time but blocked traffic so completely that the driver had to reverse out the same way he came in, creating gridlock through the center of the provincial capital. Alberta's transportation minister has proposed a public naughty list, a registry of carriers whose drivers repeatedly strike infrastructure. The province can currently fine up to $10,000 for a bridge collision. Officials admit that number may not be steep enough because the calculation experienced drivers run is brutally simple. A detour costs time, a fine costs money, a strike costs both. And clearly, not enough drivers are running that calculation correctly before they commit to the approach. The cost of the high-level bridge is this. Edmonton's most historic crossing has become the trucking industry's most embarrassing, recurring headline. It gets hit, it gets repaired, and then it gets hit again. Number 4. The Ironworkers Memorial Bridge, North Vancouver, British Columbia. The official name is the Second Narrows Crossing. Most drivers know it by the name it earned in 1958, when a section of the structure collapsed during construction and killed 18 ironworkers, injuring 79 others. That history alone tells you something about the character of this crossing. Today it carries Highway 1 across Burrard Inlet, between Vancouver and North Vancouver, one of the most critical freight corridors on the entire West Coast. It is not especially long, it is not especially high. What makes it dangerous is the combination of narrow lanes, heavy traffic volume, steep approach grades on both sides, and the fact that it feeds directly into some of the most congested urban freight routes in British Columbia. Here is what most people never think about. The descent into the bridge on the Vancouver side requires full concentration from a loaded truck in a way that most urban crossings simply do not demand. The grade, the lane width, and the merge traffic all compete for the driver's attention at the exact moment when precision matters most. In January 2021, a semi-truck flipped over and struck the Dollarton overpass above Highway 1 at the bridge approach at 4 in the morning. The driver was subsequently arrested for impaired driving. The crash closed one of the most important freight access points into North Vancouver for hours during the morning commute. The cost of the Ironworkers Memorial Bridge is the approach. And when something goes wrong at 4 in the morning, the closest help is on the other side of an inlet. Number 3. The Ambassador Bridge, Windsor to Detroit. This is not just a bridge. It is the single most important piece of freight infrastructure connecting Canada and the United States. On any given day, roughly 10,000 trucks cross this structure, carrying an estimated 25% of all trade between the two countries. Auto parts, pharmaceuticals, food, manufacturing components. $1 in $4 of Canada-US trade passes over this bridge every single day. The bridge opened in 1929. 4 narrow lanes, no median, no real shoulder. A structure designed for the traffic volumes of nearly a century ago, now carrying freight loads its engineers never imagined. The danger is not the water, it is the compression. When one truck stalls on the Ambassador, there is no room to go around it. There is no room to stop safely behind it. And the truck ahead of you can stop for reasons that have nothing to do with driving. A customs hold, a paperwork issue, a random inspection flagged by a system on the other side of the border. Miss your customs window, and you are not late to a dock. You are late to a country. A new crossing, the Gordie Howe International Bridge, has been under construction and is expected to eventually relieve pressure on the Ambassador. Until it reaches full operational capacity, 10,000 trucks a day continue funneling through 4 narrow lanes of a structure that was never designed for this volume. The cost of the Ambassador Bridge is measured in hours, and on an international border crossing, hours are not just lost time, they are lost contracts. Number 2. The Confederation Bridge, New Brunswick to Prince Edward Island. 12.9 kilometers of concrete spanning the Northumberland Strait. The longest bridge over ice-covered water in the world, and the only fixed link between Prince Edward Island and the rest of Canada. That last fact is what makes this crossing unlike anything else on this list. Every other bridge in this countdown has an alternative route. You can reroute. You can find another crossing. You can wait at a different dock. On the Confederation Bridge, if you cannot cross, Prince Edward Island does not get its freight. There is no other option. The bridge closes to high-sided vehicles, which includes every standard tractor-trailer, when sustained winds exceed 70 kilometers per hour, with gusts consistently over 85. That threshold is hit multiple times every year, particularly through the fall and winter storm season. In November 2018, winds ran steadily over 105 kilometers per hour, and the bridge closed to all traffic entirely. One driver, Eric Whiteley, spent an entire night and the following day sleeping in his cab at the approach, waiting for restrictions to lift. He calculated that the delay had already cost him an entire run, and the pay that came with it. Empty trucks face restrictions at lower wind speeds than loaded ones. The physics are straightforward. A lighter trailer is a larger sail. A truck running empty across 12.9 kilometers of open water in a 70 kilometer per hour crosswind is not a vehicle anymore. It is a wing attached to an axle. The bridge is fully closed an average of 17 days per year due to high winds. That is not an occasional inconvenience. That is a structural reality of the only road in and out of an entire Canadian province. The cost of the Confederation Bridge is that your dispatcher's plan can be overruled by a wind gauge. And on Prince Edward Island, there is no plan B. Number 1. The Bruhn Bridge, Sicamous, British Columbia. Highway 1. The Trans-Canada Highway, the main artery connecting British Columbia's lower mainland to the rest of the country. And somewhere along it, spanning the Sicamous Channel near Mara Lake, sits a bridge that residents had been warning the provincial government about for years before anyone died on it. The Bruhn Bridge is over 60 years old. It is narrow. Its guardrails do not meet modern safety standards. Local officials, residents, and transportation advocates flagged these concerns repeatedly. In 2023, a Sicamous councillor told the province publicly and on record that people would die on that bridge if nothing was done. In August 2024, something was done, just not by the government. Raminderjit Singh was 25 years old. He had come to Canada from India in 2019 as an international student and started driving trucks to build a life for himself. He had been driving commercially for around 2 years and had only recently joined Mountain Peak Transport out of Abbotsford. On August 24, 2024, his semi-trailer went through the Bruhn Bridge's guardrail and plunged into the water below. Singh died in the crash. His load began washing up on the shoreline downstream. His parents, still in India, could not accept what they were being told. His sister, who described him as a gentle soul who wanted to help everyone around him, reminded other drivers publicly to put their safety first, because someone is always waiting for them at home. Plans to replace the Bruhn Bridge had been in discussion at the provincial level for years before August 2024. The costs were documented. The safety concerns were on record. The warnings had been issued by people who crossed that bridge every day and understood what it was and what it was not capable of handling. A 25-year-old driver who came to Canada to build a life paid for the delay with his. The cost of the Bruhn Bridge is the sentence that nobody in a government planning meeting wants to write. A warning was given. The replacement was delayed. A driver is dead, and the bridge is still there. Notice what runs through every crossing on this list. None of these situations hurt or killed anyone with a single isolated factor. It is the aging guardrail combined with decades of deferred maintenance. It is the open water combined with an empty trailer, combined with 12 kilometers of crosswind and no alternative route. It is the low clearance combined with the downtown approach, combined with a driver who committed before he read the sign. The crossings that take lives are almost never missing a skilled driver. They are missing one replacement that was approved and delayed, one inspection that did not catch what it should have, one piece of information that never reached the person who needed it before they were already committed to the crossing. Know your route before you run it. Know your clearance to the inch. Know which crossings have wind restrictions and what threshold triggers them. And when a bridge is posted, believe it. Because every posting on this list exists. Because at some point, somewhere, someone did not.